This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to the From Pain to Purpose radio show. I am your host, Eva Fulton. In this show, we explore the incredible journeys of resilience, healing, and transformation. In each episode, we will sit down with individuals who have faced unimaginable struggles and turned their pain into power, heartbreak into hope, and their challenges into meaningful change and finding new purpose in life. Through candid conversations and inspiring stories, we will uncover how pain, whether emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual, can be the catalyst for profound growth and a deeper sense of purpose. So if you are looking for motivation, insight, and real stories of triumph over adversity, you're in the right place. Let's get started on this journey from pain to purpose. Let's give veterans a voice through Military Broadcast Talk. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the From Pain to Purpose radio show. I am live from San Antonio at the Women Veterans VA Summit for the Southwest Conference. I probably didn't say that all in the right order, but hopefully you get what I mean. All right. So, like, this is what my normal thing is. Where in the world is Eva? So I wasn't quite sure if I was going to go ahead and make the trip down here. I had some different whys on why I chose to come down and attend the summit, but my heart gets reaffirmed with not what my own personal motivation is on why I came down here, but the greater good on what the why. Why do we even have summits like this? So I'm going to go ahead and go back a little bit on the history side of things. I got out in 2000. So active duty, I served about 12 years from the reserves. I transitioned from reserves to active duty in what year was that? That was 1990. And, ended up going to Desert Shield, Storm, and experiencing of that. But I ended up getting out in 2000. And, I was one of those people that had full intentions that I was going to retire, but my body said, I don't think so. And then I got married as well. So there was some personal motivations in getting out, but that was not something that I had planned on doing for quite some time because like I said, I had my head wrapped around that the Army was going to be my career. And, some of the transition afterwards has not been so easy, even after all of these years. Part of my own personal story, not just from the physical side, but, career-wise, originally I got hired on with a couple of tech companies and got laid off. And so, you quickly find out the stability whatever you call stability, the stability that was happening in the military was not quite the same on the civilian side of things. But then there was this whole gamut of just understanding anything about veteran resources and, the perception about and our experiences that have shaped us as females in the VA system and with veteran organizations has been quite a different experience as well. So, one of my first encounters dealing with veteran service organizations was filing claims, and the veteran service organization that I had worked with didn't know how to help me as a woman. And these were musculoskeletal issues that I mainly was filing for, but he didn't know how to help a woman. And that's probably something that has been repeated time and time again. I'm giving this as a prelude that if we wonder why a specific Women Veterans Summit happens, it's because there are some gender specific issues that are different for us as women than there are for the males, but then sometimes some of the same things go hand in hand, and we experience very similar issues. But one of the first main community things that I got involved with and helped lead, there was myself and working for a federal agency, partnered with another federal agency representative. So we co-led a very social event for women veterans in North Texas. And I think when we were doing this was in the 2016, 2017 timeframe. We were kind of like the groundbreaking side of having social events like that. But we recognized the issue then that community was part of the solution. So I'm going to give a shout out to people like Drea Lewis, who now is also, she works for the VA. Brandy Baxter. There were a list of other people. I'm sorry, I can't remember everybody's names, but we were this great community that worked with the state of Texas. That was Anna Baker and Pam Merikline, who worked with TBC at the time and helped provide some of that funding. So Texas, specifically North Texas, because that's the area of Texas that I was living in at the time, most of the time since I've gotten out of the Army, that, we started this very community-based organizational area. I started a Facebook group called North Texas Women Veterans in 2016, and then I expanded it to North Texas Veterans, a co-ed group called North Texas Veterans. And that was because I knew that I recognized that if the women were having issues, the men were having issues, and sometimes male and female needed to be in the same group. So, if you're located in North Texas, feel free to join those Facebook groups. I say all of that to really help set the foundation that the community has a lot of information that can solve or be part of the solution on a lot of the issues that veterans face. When we talk about military broadcast radio giving veterans a voice, a lot of that starts at the community level and us helping provide the information itself. So I'm going to share my screen. What is the purpose of the Women Veterans Summit? This is coming from the VA's website. They had shared this information out, and I don't know that I probably shared it enough. There are some other folks, some other women from North Texas down here. But this was an invitation to the region that they had put out. Sorry. So they called on, so this was put out by the Center for Women Veterans. And this particular event is hosted for the Southwest region. And they sent out a letter that they're coming, but I want you to see that they are going out to other regions as well. So it's the main reason why I want to be able to put this information out to you guys, so that as the VA puts out this information, you can go to your particular region's summit, and why should you attend? So what's the purpose? Well, part of it is that they are doing some registration, but that's not all that's happening here. And I want you to be able to understand why. So they have their own information that they're sharing. I'm going to go ahead and unshare this. So the VA has a lot of information that they are putting out. Man, I took so many screenshots of some of the information that they shared. Let me cover, these are all on my phone, so I'll have to put these up later. That they talked about listening to women veterans. There are surveys that they put out. So you need to, if you want to have a voice, you need to answer the surveys. Okay. The VA sends those out. I know that I get reminder calls when they're going to have town halls. If you want to be part of the process, you need to answer the surveys. I encourage you to attend. Get involved in some of the studies that they have too. They have a community veterans engagement board. They want your VA stories. They want to, apparently they have a new workbook for women veterans, and that's to help them set goals, find resources. They want your feedback to shape the workbook and make sure it meets the needs of the women veterans across the country. I mean, how cool is that? That they are taking an initiative to do things. Connecting with the VA, learning to serve. So they have VA phone support, 1-800-MY-VA-411. They have a download welcome kit. Of course, they have the Veterans Crisis Line, as you know, call 988 and then press 1. They have a VA Veterans Homeless Support System for their homeless programs. And that is, you can go to va.gov/homeless or call 877-424-3838. And of course, you can apply for VA healthcare. They've had claims people down there as well. You could have brought your stuff and be able to go ahead and start your claim. There's some other nonprofits here. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Lots of great folks. I was trying to slide through my pictures. I took a ton of pictures to get to some of the other slides I have here. Definition of self-empowerment. So in a way, that's part of what Drea and Brandy and I and the whole group back in 2017 wanted to help was, self-empowerment. Because when we have information, we can start processing, what do I need to start doing to help myself, right? I don't care whether it's education. You know how to, when you self-empowerment, to go and get your hair cut, to get your nails done. Well, what about the rest of the holistic story for self-empowerment to improve your situation? Self-empowerment is the internal process. This is the definition that the VA is given. Self-empowerment is the internal process of developing confidence, autonomy, and resilience to take control of your life and achieve your personal goals. Goals. It involves self-awareness, setting healthy boundaries, making informed decisions, and nurturing your own well-being. This mindset shift enables you to navigate challenges, tap into your innate potential, and create positive change rather than waiting for external sources of power or permission. You have the power to navigate your own path. I always talk about my hiking goals, my participating in the VA Golden Age games. I didn't wait for a referral from my healthcare provider to get assigned to the coach. Well, I didn't do well because the VA didn't give me a coach to do anything. Do you have to have a coach tell you, go to the gym? Hey, go hit the ball. Yeah, all right. These are some things that you have control of to go do it. And I'm giving you permission. If you don't have permission already, if you haven't given yourself permission already, I'm helping to encourage you. Get out and go do. This is self-empowerment. To get out there and find the information that you don't have right now that you need help with. And I don't care whether it is education, maybe it's a weight loss goal, maybe it is coming to an event. I'm happy to always share this kind of information because guess what? Eva doesn't collect it to keep it for herself. I mean, I can do that, sure, but that's not my messaging ever. I'm giving veterans a voice so that I'm helping somebody else. So you can get the information, and even if you don't use it, share it and help somebody else. All right, so what else have I learned? Let's go to the next one. This was a neat little slide. Am I ready for change? Are you ready for change? Because that's a mindset too. You have to recognize what you're receiving right now, the life that you are living right now. How is that working for you? Because maybe you are ready for change. Hey there, I see you into the weeds. That's one of our other radio show hosts. Thank you. We have to be ready for change because the definition of insanity is if what you're doing is the same old, and that's not working for you, then what are you going to do? Right? It's time to make a change. So you have to decide, are you ready for change? I can't decide that for you, but if you want something different, then you have to be willing to take the next step and move towards change. So what does this slide say? So they actually are getting, I got to put the glasses on, sorry. This is getting into a framework, kind of a psychological side of things. It's the trans-theoretical model of behavior change, TTM. Identifies 6 stages of readiness experienced by an individual attempting to change. 1, pre-contemplation. Pre-contemplation is failing to recognize the need for change. So you're pre-contemplating whether you need it, but then failing to recognize that you need to change. Does that make sense? Contemplation. You're seriously considering the need for change, but that doesn't mean you're doing. You're just contemplating. All right, the wheels are spinning. The engine's turned on, but you haven't engaged the gears and pressed the gas to go anywhere. Preparation. You're making small changes. You're preparing to change the wheels. You're putting gas in the engine, or not an engine, but you're putting gas in the tank. You're preparing, you getting things ready, but that still doesn't mean you're doing. Action. You're exercising for less than 6 months. So you're driving down the road, but you haven't necessarily gone very far. Maintenance, regular exercise lasting longer than 6 months, and then terminating. You just find engines off. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm going nowhere fast. So, are you ready for change? The little cartoon says, since we can't eat out, now's the perfect time to eat better, get fit, and stay healthy. But the other little birdie, it's a little dragon, says, we're quarantined. Who the hell are we trying to impress? We have snacks, we have sweatpants. By God, I say we use them. So, that's really, are we making good choices or we're making bad choices? Bad choices, probably doing nothing. Good choices, getting engaged and we're doing something. We're finding information that is going to help us not sit at home and twiddle our thumbs and become a victim and wonder why are things not improving. Well, because you have to actively want to engage in change, and that starts with sometimes getting information, coming to an event like this. Let's see, what's another slide I have? Polyvagal theory is a different slide. So this was from yesterday. Your nervous system is not broken. It's trying to protect you. So you have to understand your nervous system, honor your story, choose your path. The polyvagal theory explains how your autonomic nervous system, ANS, helps you respond to safety or a threat. You're not overreacting. Your body remembers. One is your parasympathetic ventral vagal, social engagement, safety. I'm safe. Wherever you are, you're safe. You know that the people that are around you, probably your family, you feel healthy, you feel safe, and you get comfortable and you stay right there. I feel calm, connected, and present. I'm able to engage, empathize, and think clearly. Body feels regulated, heart rate is steady. Example, you like spending time with people who get you, feeling supported and understood, purpose, meaning, connection, using tools that build resilience, breathe work, movement, mindfulness, and rest. The sympathetic mobilization side is where, you start getting outside of your comfort zone. Something inside, something isn't safe. I need to fix or escape. Flight, fight, hypervigilance, anxiety, worry, restlessness, muscle tension, headaches, racing heart, hard to think clearly. Examples of those trigger mechanisms are loud noises, crowds, chaos, conflict, or confrontation. Thinking about past trauma, feeling judged or unsafe, too much stress, not enough support. Your dorsal vagal engages in shutdown when you feel like your life is threatened. So that's freeze, collapse, numbness, disconnected, blank, exhausted, depression, hopelessness, chronic pain, heavy fatigue, can't get out of bed, no energy. Your examples are you feel overwhelmed for too long, isolation, withdrawal, flashbacks, shame, helplessness, when the body gives up to protect you. Listen, I've been through some stuff in life, right? Been through some stuff. After my car wreck, after my husband left me, making some of these choices, getting out of the military when I didn't want to, getting laid off, all of these, my second husband left me, that, just the thinking about it. I have those, I want to say flashbacks, but you have those memories and you recognize that, yeah, I've kind of lived all three of these things. One of the things that I actually did that helped me move and navigate out of those levels 2 and 3 was going and serving other people. In the very times, and I actually talk about this in my book, Welcome to My People Garden, in the very times when I thought that I was probably the victim and I thought somebody needed to serve me, God kind of put me in this situation that says, no, go serve other people. These were homeless people over in Dallas. It was part of an assignment, and they were in much more less than situation, even though, I mean, I was housed, I could eat, I, you know, we were safe. And when your mind kind of makes these distinctions about which scenario I'm at, 1, 2, or 3, that I just got through reading, it changes your perception on things. So getting out and serving has been one of the very things when I start getting low, when I start wanting to withdraw, I get out and I go serve. And I know it sounds very counterintuitive to get out, but you kind of have to get out of your own way because it's actually putting you in the very situation that's going to help you heal. And when you come to you come to events like this, you have this sense of reunion. I mean, I experienced that at the VA Golden Age game several weeks ago. Saw my sergeant major that I served with in Germany, was not expecting to see him there at all. I had the comfort of my friend, Jose Flores, who's on the Motivated Mindset after this show. My friend Ann Maker was there. And, things were, yes, there were some challenges on how my body was feeling that week, but I had some comfort level of things with the company that I was keeping. Then that following week, Jose and I were teaching that Veterans Initiative class with Common Ground and, Where's My Mic, teaching this podcasting class. So you're teaching it to new people, but the common, situation is that these are veterans. So we have this neat, I want to say, familiarity and orientation with other veterans because we all kind of get each other. Even when we're not feeling great, we can empathize with each other and understand things. One of the most encouraging things, I say encouraging, it's sad, but so true. Downstairs in the exhibitors section, I was going through peddling my survey, and I'll get to that in a minute or two. I ran across this lady who is a veteran. She's a combat veteran, and I think she's here from the San Antonio area. Her daughter is a veteran, but has not ever had to serve in a combat area. But she was needing the information as well. So this mother, she's probably, I had to guess, she probably is about my age. She has not come to any of these kinds of events before. And she was like, I don't know that I recognized ever the information that I didn't know, the questions that I hadn't thought about asking. And maybe it's the woulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda. She goes, I didn't know what I didn't know. Well, unless and until you come to a summit event, I mean, the topics we've heard on for the last 2 days have been everything from some financial planning side of things. I went to a session a while ago about, preparing for burial and stuff like that. My father is 83. He's a veteran. He qualifies as well. What are the things that I should do in the event? It's not, come on, face it, folks. It's not a matter of if we're ever going to die. It's just a matter of when are we going to die? How do we prepare for those situations? Have your DD 214 available for a family member. What are your wishes? Do you want to be buried or do you want to be cremated? And where are these things going to happen? The more you can help with some of the information gathering on that, the better off your family members are going to be. Let's see. Yesterday afternoon's session that I attended was about women veterans whole health and the VA model, understanding that, not everything is about getting a prescription or a surgery. There are other things out there, resources that we can use that can help. And part of it is also going to be dependent upon the resources that are available in your VA's area. But acupressure is one of them. There's a self-care flyer on acupressure. I think there are some places that are looking at doing acupuncture as well. I know several years ago, before I went to go work in the DC area, I was getting the ear acupuncture, right? Those little stud things that they stay in almost a week. They're little bitty jewels, little metal things that they kind of puncture into your head. I don't know what else to call it. But they kind of stay in the ear, but they do both ears. And that's supposed to help with headaches. It kind of had helped a little bit, but there are plenty of acupressure points that you can do. There are a lot of resources out there, the VA, that we probably could have 15 shows on each one to help explain. But here is some more information. Whole health resources. I'll try to share some of this information out on my page. But they are looking at self-care. We can't expect that the VA or that the federal government can provide every part of self-care. A lot of that still is dependent upon the things that we do on our own, making better food choices, making better movement choices, and really kind of helping ourselves. And I'm going to get into kind of the biblical side of things. Don't be gluttonous with what you eat and think that something's going to get better. So there's that. Let's see. What else? I have so many flyers here. Who are some of the speakers? We've had some local speakers, had some other speakers that came in from out of state. Phyllis Wilson from the Women's Memorial talked with us today. I looked up and I could have sworn I had submitted my story on the Women's Memorial way back when, and maybe I just can't pull it up by my phone. So I need to recreate my profile with Women's Memorial. Give my oral history. I've kind of done a thing or two, so it's okay. Now I have more to add to it. Let's see. One of my very favorite people is Miss Candy Martin. She's downstairs manning the Daughters of the American Revolution table. I was so excited to get to see her. I met her working for HUD some years ago. She was one of our guests, our keynote speaker for Memorial Day ceremony. She's also representing Gold Star Mothers, and she's promised to come on my show. So I'm super excited. Both she and Phyllis have said they would come on my show. And so I have to make sure I do better before Phyllis comes on, because I don't want to be chastised that I wasn't part of my own solution and leaving my legacy in what I've been doing. Let's see. We've had there was a chaplain, active duty chaplain, that came on, spoke to us today. Let's see. Dr. Linda Davis is the Chief Officer of Veterans Experience. She came in and was talking about shaping the women veterans experience. Jacqueline Hayes Bird, of course, is the Women Veterans Coordinator for the Department of Veterans Affairs. She has been hosting the entire event. National Cemetery Administration came and talked with us as well. Women of Valor, I don't think I got to hear that particular presentation from Captain John Horo on behalf of his wife. She was a Lieutenant General, Patty DeHoro. Then, let's see, lots of breakout schedules. Today, we heard about, so the fireside chat, Wisdom in Service, was Major General Barb Holcomb, Army. Captain Major Lisa Northway is Army. Major General Peggy Poore of the U.S. Air Force. And then we had suicide prevention from Dr. Sarah Hurth. Homelessness and Veterans Justice Program with Sean Liu. He's the National Homeless Program Manager. By the way, I have several of his articles referenced in my literature review on my dissertation. So that is, it's kind of neat meeting somebody, and I introduced myself and said, hey, I'm just letting you know, I've kind of been a fan of your articles, and mentioning them in my dissertation, the literature review part. Then let's see. So there's been some other, like I said, nonprofits. Let me kind of jump into that side of things. There is an app. If y'all don't know, there is a VA Health and Benefits app. So you don't have to go just to the website version of va.gov and log in. There's an app too. I have not downloaded the app. I've always had that VA Connect app, but I haven't downloaded the main app. So I need to do that too. Well, let's see. They even, I love how they give you like, here's the link, right? Here's that. Let's see. I talked with this neat lady. So she's going to be on my show. Forget her name. I could have her email, from the Veterans Yoga Project, Mindful Resilience. So future guest here on From Pain to Purpose. Then the ladies with the women with veterans of San Antonio, they have really been representing. They have shown up and showed out really well, have a booth and everything. And that's important, right? The local organizations really need to be here. Oh, Melissa Washington came in from California with Women Veterans Interactive. I think I have her acronym right, WVI. She does a lot with veteran businesses as well. Leah Stiles it has had a booth, and she sold out of her books, 25 books that she brought with her. Got them all autographed, and those are all out there. Great to see Leah. I think 3 times I've seen her this year. So awesome. And I need to order a book from her as well. She will be coming back on my show and talking about her book and what motivates her. Let's see. This is another VA thing. Divine Beauty Bar. So this was pretty cool. So this lady, she does wigs, walkers, diabetic shoes, mastectomy bras, custom breast prosthesis, and so here's some information. So they had a booth about some of the different I want to say adaptive and prosthetic type things, because let's face it, women do get breast cancer, happen to have mastectomies, but they don't want to not be able to look like they can still wear a bra, still want to have some kind of semblance of having a female figure and not have it, be absent of breasts. let's see, what other information? I have so many takeaways. So, like, here's USA was here, and they were talking about financial. This was their educational foundation about they offer free financial education resources for the military community, and just doing like a checklist if you have, can you support each of these emergency kind of fund things? Excuse me. Let's see. This is Retreats by Water, and they offer holistic health practitioner. That's here locally. Retreatsbywater.com. That looks very interesting. I have to check that out. Stone River Tactical Recovery Veteran Support Services. This is a San Antonio facility in cooperation with the VA Community Care, TRICARE, and Most Insurance. They offer integrated substance use and mental health treatment services to veterans and military communities, and they have a deep commitment to the military and veteran cultural awareness. They have a partnership with Psych Armor, a nationally recognized nonprofit leader and training provider. They are a veteran-ready program, proudly serving those who all served us. Now, I think when I talked with Psych Armor, you can actually be a veteran that's in a different state, and transportation is not going to be a barrier. Because I asked, what if somebody, let's say in New York, needs to, reaches out? He said, actually, they completely understand that, because when you are local to, if you're going to a treatment facility that is maybe in too close a proximity to the people who are toxic in your environment, sometimes getting away in another state is going to help you, because you are getting away from that environment and you're able to focus on you and what you need. So this particular organization, they help you. They have an app, apparently, follow-up app that they do from their post-treatment, dealing with depression, anxiety, stress, cravings, spirituality. The neat thing, the trend that I have heard really confirms what I even base this show on, which is, I always use like a chair, and each leg of a chair represents pain: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual pain. The confirmation in that has been all summer long, has been, I'm on the right track. And when you have one of those legs start getting wonky, then you know that you've got to pay attention, because the stability of where you're at is missing something. Here's the business card for Stone River. Yep, Terry Buford is who I had spoken with. He's in the business development side of things. If anybody needs to reach out to me, feel free. I will share his contact information with you. Let's see. We've got Dual Veteran Families of America. So this was a couple of ladies that I just met a while ago. They actually have a whole different mission. I didn't know really about this problem. And that is when benefits are getting reduced because you have dual military veterans, and that creates problems with Chapter 35 and with Hazelwood Act, like here in the state of Texas, because when it changes I can't even, don't worry. I'm going to have them on my show too, because I've already invited them. Come on. Let's talk about what the problem is and start advocating for how do we fix the problem. Y'all know that I'm very much geared towards public administration and making sure here, this is what she was talking about. Here's the situation. So, future guest on the show. I got to put on the glasses to read this. The situation is when a child of a dual veteran couple with eligibility from both parents elects Chapter 35 educational benefits, the net beneficial benefit to their family is less than the amount of one full benefit. VA violates the Osman versus Peak U.S. Court of Appeals for Veteran Claims presidential decision of 2008 by not allowing a child student with eligibility from two veteran parents to receive Chapter 35 educational benefits from each as earned while taking dependent compensation on behalf of the student away from all veterans. Anyways, what does this get at? So there was some math. If it's just one parent, then the net amount, because you're losing the compensation, goes from 56,000 down to 39,000. But when there's two parents, dual military, and that compensation also comes out from the second parent, the net benefit to the family is a loss of nearly $23,000. So, man, the chunk of money is huge, and it's like, man, this is crazy. Why do we dual benefit? Dual military families kind of get the shaft because they really consider it as one benefit, not two benefits, even though it's two parents. So some of the issues about how some of these things have been designed are designed to fail, not to provide the right benefits to the family. All right, so why did I come here? I ran out of flyers, but I came peddling my study. Yes, I am using that word. Came peddling my study to find more participants, and I've moved the needle from 3 to 20 participants. More people, remember, they're all busy. I handed out all 50 flyers. I shared it in the Whova app. Oh, Whova app's another thing. HWHOVA, Whova. If you're in another region and you're going to attend a VA event, I recommend you download the Whova app, and that will get you plugged into the agenda, networking with other people, sharing pictures, experiences, polls, surveys. So I shared my QR code for the survey, for my survey there. So I'm super excited that I have moved the needle on getting participants, and I'm looking forward to starting to analyze the data and having the second phase of my qualitative study and having discussions with these women and figuring out what their issues and barriers have been at the federal, state, local, and nonprofit levels. Because I think now that they've been through the summit, many of these women are really going to understand. And even the messaging here has confirmed that this has been a system that is designed for men. We women were not, we were the fringe, but we've had, a steady increase of female veterans because we were filling more roles within the military itself. But now we need those resources in the veteran side of things as well. So they are been having to figure out how does our population being affected, like even in homelessness, and the trend in homelessness kind of has had a steady increase, a little bit of improvement last year, but there's still been some issues. Same thing for veteran suicide. The veteran suicide population is higher than the non-veteran population. So, we can move the needle on that. Oh, by the way, they said that the death by suicide ranked 12th out of the other causations of death. Let me see if I can find. That was actually an interesting group of statistics that they were talking about. So, heart disease was number 1. Cancer was number 2. Chronic lower respiratory diseases, number 3. Then it goes to stroke, unintentional injuries, diabetes, Alzheimer's, COVID, Parkinson's, kidney, flu/pneumonia. Then it goes into suicide. Chronic liver disease is 13, septicemia 14, and hypertension 15. Suicide ranks number 12. That is 1.5% of death. Heart disease is 25.3% of the deaths, 110,000 in 2023. That's what their statistics show. So I thought that was interesting to look at that information, that, it's the rest of all of those other, except for the unintentional injuries, all of the rest of the causation of death is all health related. So let's focus on what some of these health related issues are and see if we can lower those along with, suicide. I was trying to think what other suicide among women veterans. This is what that particular slide looked like. So it went up and it's headed back down. So that's a good thing. Just trying to see what other information. I had some great here was something. So my show is called From Pain to Purpose. I loved yesterday that the whole health breakout session was also talking about purpose. Is purpose an issue? That's what the title of the slide was called. Is purpose an issue? So their statistic says 25%, let me turn it sideways so I can read it. 25% of American adults say they have a clear sense of what makes their life meaningful. 58% of young adults ages 18 to 25 say that they do not have any or only have a minimal sense of purpose or meaning in their life, and that consequences matter. I want you to think about that. I'm always talking about purpose. Why do we have military broadcast radio? Why do I have my radio show called From Pain to Purpose? If you've seen any of my shows before, you know that I have my documentary called From Pain to Purpose, Her Second Service Story. I have my book, Welcome to My People Garden. I'm working on my PhD because I am trying to advocate for other veterans in some way, somehow, giving veterans a voice. I loved what Drea, I haven't seen Drea in several years, right? And she goes, the one thing about you, Eva, that has not ever changed is that you have a story, but you don't tell your story. And I'm going to use this word from my context. I don't tell it from a narcissistic standpoint. I tell it because I'm trying to help advocate for other people. I'm trying to empower you. I'm trying to help you find a purpose in what your life is about so you can go help somebody else. because that's how we as a community are going to function and work best, when we share the information, when we know that we are not alone and we're going to get through this together. Focus on purpose and empowerment. Polytrauma Integrative Medicine Initiative, they have the acronym is PIMI. They have a pilot study. They have 3 polytrauma sites from fiscal years 13 and through 15, funded by the OPCC. I don't know what OPC stand for, and Rehab Medicine. They had 9 health coaches certified by Duke University. Their goal was to determine whether health coaching is a valued intervention in the view of veterans and clinicians. This was followed by the Disability and Rehabilitative Research in Gainesville. The interesting thing I'm going to say about that is that I had a coach when I was going through the VA MOVE program and working through what my mental transitions were on trying to lose weight. Where was I going? What actions was I doing or not doing that were contributing or not contributing to the progress that I wanted to make? And so this is a mindset change. A lot of this is really your own personal mindset change, which goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning about us owning where we are at in our journey, right? And that really, is up to us. Is what we're doing working? That's up to you. Is it working? And if it's not working, what are you going to do to change about it? What are you going to do to go get the help? Because sitting still and doing nothing isn't helping you, right? You gotta get up and move. Motion is lotion. I don't care whether it's mental, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual. And yes, they even confirm that those people who are integrated in a spiritual life are going to be more grounded and happier because they have some stability. They have that, emotional need, that's a spiritual need. That's why I have the 4 legs of the chair that I always use in my example to help people be able to be stable in things. Future, so I have I'm so excited. I have future guests that are coming up. Got to get them scheduled, and they will be some fantastic conversations. In the meantime, I don't have a guest for next Saturday. We'll figure out who I can get scheduled for next Saturday. But coming up on August 8th is Kiani Washington, and we're going to talk about her journey and small business, what she's doing in the veteran small business world of things. One of my former active duty coworkers is an attorney in Texas. Rick Rousseau was a JAG attorney. He has a law firm in Texas. We are going to talk about his pain to purpose story in helping veterans and disability and all of that. I'm super, super excited about what the upcoming guests and the stories they're going to share. Pretty awesome. So thank you all for joining me on this journey. And I'm going to be hitting the road here shortly, heading back home and enjoying some good times with my kids tomorrow. So anyways, y'all have a fantastic journey. If I missed getting to say goodbye to any of you, if you attended the conference here, reach out to me. Love to have you on, meet you again. And y'all have a fantastic day and a great week. Thank you for joining Military Broadcast Radio from Pain to Purpose Show, and be safe out there.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.